We know that the big story that you and the weather impact team are watching this week is that swelling of the Nueces River.
We were watching the Frio last week as it went through Tilden, and now we've really transitioned to watching the Nueces River. We're still seeing flooding in KIII, and now we're seeing it south of Tilden, and that still has some time before it makes it to Three Rivers. So that's something that we are really watching. But what is going to affect everyone this week is the heat, and it's going to affect those who are making preparations on their houses and moving livestock. So I do want to get started with that today. If you take a look right now at the map you're seeing, this is our map of heat risk. We do have a dome of high pressure sitting over the central U.S. right now and sitting over Texas. That is leading to major to extreme heat risk across some locations. Tomorrow, we are going to see some major heat risk in South Texas, but that itself is a little bit hard to understand. So let's put a timeline as well as some numbers on what we are going to see tomorrow. We do have a heat advisory in effect from noon to 7 p.m. This does include our northern counties as well as our central counties, but excludes locations such as Jim Hogg, Brooks, and Kennedy County. That doesn't mean that they aren't going to get hot. Those are locations that tend to be hot on a regular basis. So their criteria for a heat advisory may not be the same as what we are seeing for our central and northern counties. Tomorrow, we are looking at heat indices up to about 110 to 112 for certain locations inland. Not everyone is going to see that heat. It's really going to depend on the combination of heat and humidity of what we're going to see for our feels-like temperatures. But everyone is pretty much looking hot. So if you are going to be outside, we suggest maybe planning for things to be in the morning or in the evening. But if you have to be outside in the afternoon, you're going to want to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water and also making sure that you're taking plenty of breaks inside under the air conditioning if you can. And I really want to talk about the heat because those in Live Oak County that are currently making preparations for the flooding of the Nueces River, they're really going to have to be mindful. If you're moving livestock or prepping anything outside of your home, you're going to still want to make sure you're taking breaks while doing so. The Nueces River is under a flood warning all the way from KIII, even though the waters are receding there, to Lake Corpus Christi. Right now, we are currently seeing the waters rise south of Tilden. This area is currently in major flooding, expected to crest at 23.1 feet. But take a look at this forecast. It's set to stay in major flooding through at least a portion of the weekend. I don't believe the forecast even goes all the way out yet to show it falling below major flood stage. All of that water that is currently south of Tilden, that is going to eventually flow to Three Rivers. It does take a little over a day to get there, and then from Tilden to Lake Corpus Christi, it takes about 2 days. So we still have some time if you are in Three Rivers. Three Rivers itself is expected to hit flood stage Wednesday afternoon and then major flood stage on Thursday. And if you've been keeping up with it over the last several days, you'll notice that this forecast is a little bit later than what they initially said. That river rose slower in Tilden, south of Tilden, so that's why this forecast has been pushed back and may still change. So you're going to want to make sure that you're really keeping an eye on that river forecast if you live along the river in Three Rivers. Making sure you prep your home, getting those sandbags, moving any valuables to higher ground, moving livestock to higher ground as well, because in low-lying areas, those could get cut off, livestock could end up drowning, and you want to make sure also that you're listening to local officials and making sure that you're keeping your safety the top priority. If you think you need to evacuate, local officials are suggesting to do so earlier because that is significantly going to help them out when they see the floodwaters reach Three Rivers and they don't have to worry about your safety. Now, this flood specifically is going to end up somewhere between 2002 and 2007, but I do want to say that no flooding is the same. It's been about 20 years since we've seen the river crest above 40 feet, and so a lot of infrastructure and landscaping may have changed in that time, so areas may flood differently than they have in the past.
You know, and it seems like we spent all last week talking about this, but it's still a story for this week, right? I mean, there's nothing here that people should say, okay, whew, glad that's behind us.
And having been in Tilden, I was there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I saw when the river was at 10 feet, not yet over its banks, to 20 feet, to then almost 30 feet, dramatic difference. And you talk about areas that could flood and prepping, but then you see it. You see the water that was around Max's Cafe, and it's truly something astonishing if you haven't seen it before.
Yeah.
And it is something that people should take very seriously.
Yeah, it's a different story, always in person, and we know you guys are going to have those up-to-date forecasts for us and the team, so Hope, thank you so much. And of course, like you mentioned, the heat's going to be something to watch this week. Hey, before we